All right, welcome to tonight's watch. This is a movie review podcast I do with my older brother Matt,
Hi.
my younger brother Luke.
Yeah!
I like it, Luke. Keep the energy up while we talk about this movie. And my younger sister Kelly. You gotta speak. There's audio listeners. They gotta know. Okay, we go over a movie each week and are gonna start doing a full plot summary after our spoiler-free initial thoughts and some background info on the movie. Because I pay for this podcast and I said so. If you are a fan and your name is Uncle Pat, our number one and biggest fan, we are changing up our format a little bit. We're no longer going to be doing our weekly recaps, so we could just get right into the movie. And we are going back to overall kind of focusing on franchises, but we will be doing some random picks here or there still, with Matt and Kelly still choosing ones, as well as having some more guest spots. Spoilers, we're going to be having Cowboy Cameron on for Wild Hog soon.
Yeah.
With that, we'll jump into tonight's watch, which was Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Yeah.
I will give some background.
After hiatus. Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Welcome to the Dollhouse. I actually haven't posted our most recent video. I don't think.
You never do.
So I was thinking. I know I was thinking about doing it today, but I had all the editing problems, so it was a mess. Welcome to the Dollhouse was released in 1995, but I think it was not fully released till 96 because it was a Sundance festival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was
I
it
think
Sundance?
it was released in Canada in 95.
Okay.
But widely released in 96, May 96.
Okay.
Is
Thank
what
you.
I want to say.
There's a runtime of an hour and 27 minutes. It was written and directed by Todd I can't say it. Solondz. Thank you. If I'm looking off to the side, that's actually where I have you guys. So that's my cue for I need your help.
Okay.
Some quick trivia about the movie, some background info before we get into our initial thoughts. And this one's starting off hot. The film's working title was, I can't say either of the words.
Oh no.
Oh, can I?
It was F slurs and R slurs was the word.
I can say one of them. Guess which one?
It won the Grand Jury Prize at the 1996 Sundance Film Festival. So it actually was 96 Sundance, it said. The main character, Dawn, shows up in two other of the director's movies, Palindromes and Wiener Dog, played by a different actress. I think both times...
Greta Gerwig.
It was... What?
Greta Gerwig.
She's played by Greta Gerwig in Wiener Dog.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frances Ha herself.
No, I don't know much about those two movies, but apparently the character has a different fate in both of them and has a different backstory a little bit too. It's like an alternate universe. Yeah. That's what it said. This launched the career of Heather Matazzaro, our main protagonist, who had only done a few episodes of a show called Adventures of Pete and Pete before this.
Oh, classic.
And this film currently holds a 94% critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an 86 audience. All right, we're going to start with Luke because Luke is the most susceptible to other people's opinions. So, Luke, what are your thoughts?
I have my own opinions.
Okay, say it. Say it then.
I can think this movie was good. It made me feel awful.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Okay. All right, then Matt, this is your pick.
We'll go into more details later.
Okay.
Okay.
You can go longer than that, Matt. Like, this is
I'll
so try to stay spoiler free in this part, but also like you can give a kind of overall of how you felt about it.
A great movie to watch with your dad. That's what I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to feel like shit for an hour and a half, but then be like, "Wow, that was really well done." I didn't grow up as a 13-year-old girl, but oh my god, it seems like a living nightmare. I'm so sorry to Kelly and anyone who had to be a 13-year-old girl. Yeah. Good lord. It has its funny moments and then a lot of moments where I just wanted to lay face down on the floor. Those are my initial thoughts. Kelly?
Yeah, let's go, Kelly.
I have a love-hate relationship with this movie.
Yeah.
I watched it 3 years ago the first time, and I never thought that I would ever watch it ever again. Not because it wasn't good, but because I wanted to fucking die.
Yeah.
But upon rewatch, I think I liked it less.
Oh, interesting.
Watching it now out of my teens, I think a little bit it a little bit just feels like they just wanted to watch a 12-year-old get tortured for an hour and a half to me. I think if this were, and maybe this is wrong for me to say, I know this is wrong for me to say, but if this were made by a woman, this movie would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unstoppable.
I do think that it's a good movie, and I do like its impact that it's had on movies to come. But yeah, I have very mixed feelings about the fact that this movie exists, I think. Right, Mark?
Yeah, this was a tough watch for me. I think it's a well-made movie, but I just don't enjoy watching it very much, and so it'd be hard for me to like recommend it to people because I just felt terrible throughout all of it, and it's just not really particularly my speed of movie of like what I would choose to watch. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I think it's well made. I could see why people like it. I felt terrible the whole time, and I was like, the way Kelly felt 3 years ago, of like, I'm never gonna watch this movie again.
I don't think there's been a single soul that is. If you watch Welcome to the Dollhouse and thought it's a very happy-go-lucky movie, and thought I'm not supposed to feel like shit right now, you might be a sociopath.
Yeah.
You might want to get something checked out.
Yeah, that's the test.
Yeah, I had like this overcoming, like this overwhelming feeling of like anxiety every time a new scene started, where I didn't know where it was going. But not one that was like fun, like a horror movie. One that just made me feel terrible. So, yeah, that was my initial thoughts on it. Spoiler free.
It is weird. I did think it was weird that it was written and directed by a man, because I was like, this is so strange.
And like, unfortunately, I don't know who this. I do actually know. I know who this Todd guy is. I don't know why he knows what it's like to be a middle school girl, or what possessed him to make this movie.
I don't know.
But
that is strange. It has some of the most creative and horrendous bullying I've ever seen in a movie. To force someone to poop is insane.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that part. I was like, what was going on in that
scene
part?
is the reason I didn't ever want to watch this movie again, and I had to watch it on mute this time.
Yeah,
like I can't watch that scene. Like I just think it shouldn't. I get it. That's like the point of the movie. I just don't think it should have. I don't know. I hate that.
Can I thoroughly
Obviously,
apologize?
Everyone hates it.
Can I apologize for making you rewatch it and making the other two watch it? I didn't realize when I picked it what it was going to be like until Kelly's reaction. And then I went, oh no, they made a mistake.
But no, I'm glad that you picked it, because it's like, it's a movie where we're all going to have mixed feelings about it. No, we're not all going to hate it or all going to love it. You know?
I think I'm glad I watched it once, but I am not really ever planning to ever see it again. And like, it feels important in the world of like, especially 90s movies with female protagonists, but yikes, man, it's rough. It's rough going.
Oh yeah. Look, how did it feel to watch Midday?
Yeah.
So I watched it in the morning, and it kind of felt worse because of that, because then your whole day is like that.
It was also during work, so I did have like intermissions, so I wasn't sitting in the filth the whole time.
Just outing yourself on the podcast,
and then like have to do the email, like had to do work for a second, then go do laundry, and then eat lunch. So I wasn't in total filth.
That's fair.
You're lucky.
All right, I took extensive notes on this the way I used to do it with it, And first, I would like to thank Matt so much for making this the first movie that I come back to doing it.
I thoroughly apologize.
This is what? Baptism by fire. Yeah. Mark, you can do it. If you can do this, you can do anything.
So, as I go through each thing, it's just going to be like what kind of happened overall. Just jump in at any point. Just cut me off. Okay. Middle of the sentence, it doesn't matter. I think that's just the easiest way to do it. Yeah. But we'll jump in. Okay, so after a quick zoom in on a family portrait, we meet our main character, Dawn.
We're going scene by scene.
Yeah, we meet our main character.
Have fun with that. You should say all the words they say in this movie as well.
I agree with Kelly on that.
Yeah, you should say word for word.
Yeah, you should. So we meet our main character, Dawn. She's looking for a place to sit at lunch and asks to sit next to
But what's Dawn's last name? That's important.
Wiener. Dawn Wiener.
Mm-hmm. Now, and a character, a little girl named Lolita. That's the movie that we're introduced to.
I was wondering about that. Yes.
You know, Kelly, when you said if anyone watches this and thinks it's a happy-go-lucky movie, they need to be reevaluated. Those are the same people who read Lolita and don't understand.
Oh, and call it a romance?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those people don't just need help though. Those people need to be executed.
They need jail time.
When I say we need to bring back the guillotine, I'm talking about.
I was about to say, Kelly has said.
Stoning in the town square.
On that. Yeah.
Oh my god. So we meet Lolita, who is also sitting alone, but is rude as fuck to Dawn. I initially thought this might be a rough start to a friendship, and I was very wrong.
I thought the character that ends up happening with, which is interesting.
Right.
Which is weird. Yeah.
It is interesting to take notes again during it because my thoughts are all over the place. Now, I was not laughing at Dawn's last name, but when Mark got introduced, something about Mark Wiener made me laugh. That's funny. Okay, not Dawn.
Oh, Mark's great.
Mark Wiener is funny. So I was laughing at him. Okay, some cheerleaders come up and unprompted bully Dawn as well. And
what do they ask her?
Yeah, can you say what they ask her? Can you say it?
Did they ask if she was a lesbo?
Yes, they did. They did.
But you have to say it with more vitriol than that. Can you do that for me?
Can you repeat the exact line for me? Repeat the exact line.
Are you a lesbo?
Are you a lesbo?
There you go.
I've been doing really good impressions today. I won't do one on the podcast.
He has.
And we see Dawn's locker is also filled with graffiti. So we're thrown in immediately feeling really bad for Dawn. Just immediately knowing you're going to feel like shit this whole movie. So thanks again. Dawn sees another student getting bullied. I'm not sure if this is someone we know later.
I don't think so.
Someone else? Okay.
His name is Troy, and that's his only scene.
Some dweeb.
And he's getting bullied. Is one of the bullies Brandon in this scene?
Yes.
Okay, so we meet Brandon, who's a bully. So many F slurs are said in this scene.
Brandon is such a bully's name. Can I just say?
I knew a bully.
Sorry to anyone out there named. The kid I went to school named Brandon was a dumbass. So yeah.
He's listening right now.
What was his last name?
Oh, I actually remember it. I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it.
The other bully's name was Jed.
Yeah,
of course. Does that seem like
the one who's actually dealing drugs.
Yes. Oh, right.
I forgot the name of the other guy, but Jed.
Doesn't matter then.
Yeah.
So Troy was this kid's name. The bullies let him go, but he runs away, also making fun of Dawn in the process.
He calls her Wiener Dog.
The point of that scene is that even the other kid that's getting made fun of hates her.
Yeah, they really just throw you into the deep end in this movie.
Yeah. She's on the bottom of the social hierarchy, like the very bottom.
Yeah, they show us that in 3 minutes. And that was my note. At this point, we're 3 minutes in, and I'm immediately depressed.
Yep.
That doesn't let up.
Oh. Never mind. Sorry.
Say it
I thought I had a point. Nope.
Say
it. No.
Say something.
I have no point.
No,
I have no point right now.
You have to say it.
Move on.
Stop talking.
Stop talking.
We cut to Dawn lying on her couch, and we meet her little sister, Missy. Dawn calls Missy a lesbo, then, in which she immediately tattles on Dawn to their mom. We don't see, but we hear Dawn and her mom fighting, so she also has a rough home life, too.
Well, we also see the cycle of bullying, where it's like she gets bullied,
Yeah.
and then she bullies her sister.
Yes,
You know, yeah.
Yes, but then Dawn gets punished, which the scene there has never been. See, again, Todd, don't know where you got this information, but there's never been more of a middle school girl experience than her clutching her mattress when she got in trouble, just staring into oblivion. Also, the random like bursts of the same rock music throughout the movie is so fucking funny.
I did really enjoy that.
I liked that part.
I liked that. Yeah, that was good.
So this
It's so funny.
So this
I
beginning
think
part.
maybe she's gonna go scorched earth, but she never does.
But she never does. She contains herself.
I actually thought that that's where this movie was going, but.
Is Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put that at this point. I thought it was doing an effective job at like if you only have an hour and 27 minutes, just kind of like here you know how tough it is for her really quickly. I think it's handled a little heavy-handed of just like one thing, boom, 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 boom. But it's kind of like if that's where you want to start the movie at, he does it effectively in 5 minutes because I feel terrible and immediately felt like I was rooting for Dawn within 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So, but I had to mentally strap in.
We also see her
Sail?
Oh wait, that's a little bit. In a little bit. I'm sure Mark will go over it. It's okay.
Okay, so Dawn is back at school, and we see Brandon, a presumably delinquent child. I didn't realize he was the one bullying Troy earlier.
Presumably.
Tries to cheat off her test in the most egregious way I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the kid who plays Brandon is the funniest kid alive. Unfortunately, almost everything he does in this movie made me burst out laughing, which is crazy considering
some of the
what
stuff
that
he
character
does.
is.
Jesus fuck.
Luke, were you gonna
It's
say
really
That's
funny.
creepy.
Is my point.
Yeah. he was standing up fully to look at the test.
it was
And then
intense.
Dawn gets detention.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Oh, that
She
teacher?
tells him to stop,
That
and then the
teacher.
teacher
Yeah, that
immediately
teacher's
gives them
piece of shit.
both detention.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're not hearing you. Talk louder.
Oh yeah, that's her. But also,
Oh
she
my
wasn't
God.
talking louder. Not to victim blame. I know that teacher fucking sucks, but she wasn't talking louder. Just playing devil's advocate.
I mean, that's the point I was putting later. That
There's
Dawn
a
was
solution.
asking for it,
Talk
is that what you're
louder.
saying?
that's not what I was saying. But oh my God. I put here. I don't know where this was. I missed writing it down, so I kind of threw it in here. But it was the scene in detention where Dawn finishes her assignment and gets a D-. Did she actually get a D-? Because it just seemed like
Dude, that was the fastest grading
yeah.
of
I
all
think
time.
that's bullshit. And then she begs for a retest. The teacher says no, and then later we see her give a speech on grade grubbing in front of the class.
Dignity.
And it's
Dignity, yeah.
oh man, it's awful.
It's
Just
terrible.
awful.
Yeah, that poor kid.
You guys ever given a speech in front of a classroom? Of
In
your peers?
college.
Yeah.
But like
I
at
did
that
in
age,
college.
like in middle
No,
school?
no.
Not at that
I
age.
don't
No.
know.
Started in high school.
We had a lot of presentations. Is that what you mean?
It was like a speech? Like
Not
you
on
yourself?
dignity. Not on dignity or grade grubbing.
Never
So-
had to do that. I've only had to do assignments. Hap Arnold.
I had to give a speech for NJHS president.
Did it go? a
How'd that
little
go?
like
I won.
Oh,
Nice.
What?
I totally forgot until you just said
Luke,
that. I had to give one for
you're-
student council. In
You were
seventh
just
grade.
You're
president?
so like Dawn.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool talk. I was wanted to see what you
Did you think you should have won against the other speech?
No.
Okay.
Apparently, I only won because they thought I was cute.
Oh,
They didn't listen
wait
to a
second.
word I
Who
said.
told you this? Who told you?
Take
this
what you can get.
information?
Take what you can get. Okay.
My friends after the fact,
Well,
or
yeah, okay. Is it just your friends?
Your friends
bullying?
voted for you.
no. It was
They said
it was
because
somebody
you're cute.
else. It was another friend who voted for the other person.
Okay.
I didn't do anything as the president.
Luke, now that you say it, I was like treasurer in
No,
middle
you were the
school.
president, Matt. That's why I ran for it too. I was like, you were the NJHS president, and Mark was the student council president. I thought.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Guys!
I'll tell you what. I thought I was the treasurer. Either way, I didn't do a single thing.
So maybe
I
I
didn't know you were the president.
I would not have put it past me. I think I only ran for something because of that scene in Napoleon Dynamite where he was president. Yep.
Interesting. So I was just trying to emulate my older brother, who was just emulating Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Solid.
All right, we can move on.
Okay.
You were student council president?
Yeah, I should not have won that vote.
They thought you were cute.
You're all.
They thought you were cute.
No, it's because it was a really bad. Like I could tell. I think I asked mom how it went, and it was very much a. Both speeches were good, and I could tell she was surprised when I won. I was stumbling. It was awful. It was awful.
How'd I do, Mom? Both speeches.
Both speeches, both sides.
Yeah, there were good speeches on both sides.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad if you don't get it.
Yeah. I think it was the teacher too. Not gonna say their name. I think they told me it was by 2 votes. Like it was like
It was a tight race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still won it, which is
Shouldn't have.
know
Again,
these
didn't do
things about
anything.
you guys.
Just like everyone else.
I know you're all fucking nerds. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna the next scene we kind of brushed over. It's the bathroom scene.
Yeah, it's not.
Which
it's
this
not.
one felt egregious to me because just what was the
why?
point to?
So like,
It's like, well, that's the part where it leans a little bit
What?
too much into
Yeah.
let's just watch her get tormented.
Like we
which-
get
that's
it.
the
I
point
don't
of the
wanna see
movie.
this.
But I know.
It's like shock value too much instead of like being realistic.
Yeah.
But I mean, it might have like some kids.
It might be
It's
realistic.
true.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did appreciate this, like where the rock music starts when she runs out right
Yeah.
after, and then it seems like she's gonna go do something, but then she hits the fence and then
Yeah.
doesn't do anything, and that's kind of like the theme with the music for the rest of the movie is like it starts but nothing. I always thought something crazy was gonna happen when it was ramping up, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Whoa, sorry for the chair noises. Wow.
wow.
So at this point, we cut to Dawn in her clubhouse where she is there with her friend Ralph, who
Special
Okay, I love
people
Ralphie.
club.
I
Yeah.
love Ralph. Did she call him Ralphie in it?
Ralphie. It's Ralphie.
Ralphie.
Yeah.
Um,
Ralphie is the only character, including Dawn, that I don't hate.
Yep.
Because I also
Yeah.
hate Dawn.
that's fair.
Yeah, is
Bad
he
for that
like the?
fucking kid, but I hate her as well.
Wait, who? What would you say?
Dawn.
Oh.
The main character of the film.
Oh, Dawn. Dawn.
Oh, yes. But then there's Ralphie. Who
And she-
doesn't
Yeah.
do anything.
She's
The real
not
hero.
super nice to him in this scene as well, but she's
in
complaining
any
about.
scene.
Yeah. Well, and then okay, I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit. When he retreats from her bushes, like the bushes, I
Yes.
was like, where the fuck did you come from?
So if we're
How long were
talking
you
about
there?
Ralphie, we gotta talk about if I'm hot shit, then you're cold
Then
diarrhea.
you're cold
Yes,
diarrhea.
yes.
That's all
Yes,
time.
that was
That-
good.
That's the line
That
of the movie.
line and the eat shit and live bill from Sleepaway
Oh,
Camp are on
yeah.
the same level.
Yeah.
Those are incredible lines.
Great.
Anyway, we love Ralphie.
Your
Yes.
cold diarrhea.
Cold.
Also,
That
there's
line
like
is
a
A+.
dead bird in between
Yes,
that,
I-
and we just don't talk about
Yes. Interesting on that. What happens in the
What?
Special People Club?
Well,
Love the Special
also
People
they're
Club.
staring at this dead bird, and Dawn is complaining about Missy getting everything she wants, and Ralphie replies, "Maybe she'll die."
it.
Ralphie gets it.
Did he say that? I think I missed that.
Yeah. While they're staring at the dead bird, which that they don't explain. I said it's
so
kind of
true.
ominous.
Interesting.
And then
Well, I mean, she
at
does
one point he
almost-
just randomly
I mean-
comes out of the bushes, of course. So. I
Yeah,
love
and
him.
he tries to comfort her, and then she
I know.
She
screams at him.
pushes him and screams at him.
Yep.
Yeah, not nice.
Yeah.
Screams F slur at him. I also didn't note Ralph. Well, I put Ralph because someone calls him Ralph instead of Ralphie at one point, but that's like 10 minutes left of the movie, so I had to go back to all my notes and change it from small child to Ralph. So that's, it says Ralph everywhere, but
He is a
Her
small
little
child.
friend who looks a little bit dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
At
Kid with
dinner,
the iron deficiency.
at dinner, Dawn is mouthing "fuck you" over and over again to Missy,
Which
and
is
at this
what
point, I'm
Brandon
inclined to
was
agree
doing
with
to
her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what Brandon was doing to her in detention.
Right.
Right.
She's just
Guys,
perpetuating the same shit onto her little sister. Which Missy is a little
But-
shit, but
Yeah.
also
But she doesn't
is
deserve
out there
that.
she's decapitating her dolls and shit.
That
You
was
know?
crazy. Yep. Well, that was that night. John is cutting the head off of one of Missy's dolls with a handsaw.
When you say it like that, it sounds silly.
I put, where did she get the handsaw, and is she gonna do that to Missy? That's what I was worried about.
She wants to.
Maybe.
It seemed like it
Yeah.
for a second, because she grabs the
Almost
hammer
hammer.
later. Yeah.
Damn it.
A little bit earlier, we briefly met Mark and his terrible band.
Dude, oh my
Terrible?
god.
Okay.
The band is so funny.
But the
Terrible?
keyboardist, did you recognize the keyboardist?
No.
Who was
from
he?
Lost?
He looked familiar. What?
Miles from Lost.
What?
What?
Yeah. Ken Leon? I think his
That was
name
Ken
is?
Leon?
The fuck?
Yeah.
I
Crazy,
I
right?
must have not been paying attention to this movie.
As soon as it came on screen, I was like, holy crap. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Luke, you were working.
That was in
We
one of
know
the
you
periods
weren't
where you had to
paying
do work. Yeah.
What?
I couldn't. It shocked me when they said that they were trying to play "I Can't Get No Satisfaction." I was like, "What? Not a single note was right."
Wow, that's crazy that was him, little baby Ken.
I know.
Alright.
Anything else on that, Luke? I thought you were gonna say more. I'm sorry. Okay.
Keep going.
Oh no, I'm done.
All right. Well, we had met Mark and his band earlier, but at this point, they're adding a new member whose name is literally Steve Rogers.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
Captain America.
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Bro.
It sounded familiar. It sounded familiar. I could not place it though.
Okay.
Steve
Man, you were
Rogers.
not paying attention.
Yeah.
I was though.
40%? Is that your normal?
Yeah, 40%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dawn develops a crush on Steve, although he is presumably a senior in high school, but he looks at least 30.
He's 25.
Yeah.
The
he
actor
looks
was
so old.
25.
I think he even looks older than 25. He's a.
I'm telling you, no, I'm telling you. Actually, the actor was.
That's what I mean. I think he actually looks older than his
Well,
really.
don't, stop, it's a real woman.
I'm speaking.
Why are we
facts.
getting into a fight over this right now?
I do
We're
want
gonna
to say
scrap
that later on when they say that he's what do they call it, Jim Morrison wannabe. I was like, yeah, that
Jim
feels
Morrison
right.
played for the Doors.
Yeah,
I got that right. Yes.
good job.
Also, the Doors, great music, whatever. Fucking everyone knows that. Stupid fucking name for a band.
The Doors. Yeah, where did they get that name? Do you think?
So
Door City over there.
There's Door City in here. And they're like, oh,
So-
write that down.
the band in this one's name is the Quadratics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Thoughts
Did
on
name
that?
that before there was even a fourth person?
Yes.
Because
You know you're
they
destined
also,
to be.
they're trying to make a band out of, it was a keyboard, what, clarinet? Is that what
And,
Mark was playing?
and drums or an oboe, something. Yeah.
Yeah, that was their band.
Not. Hey, you never know.
I'll tell you what, I find the character of Mark so funny because he is so matter of fact. It's just
Yeah.
like, we're so bad. He just has zero emotion about like anything. It's very funny to me.
Or later on when he just like very quietly tells Steve he was singing off key, and then Steve has a
Quits
tantrum.
immediately.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of like a difference into how like Dawn and her older brother process their feelings, because it's
Yeah.
like Dawn just can't do that. She can't not let things affect her. But also, impossible too, when literally everybody in this entire fucking town has decided to hate
Except-
her.
Yeah.
Except Ralphie.
Alfie. Anyway,
I
I
want
find
to. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I
I
was
want to
saying
know
it.
how many times Mark asked Steve if he had done any of the computer science homework.
This is what I wanted to talk about. Every time they said computer science, it made me burst out laughing. When he's sorry, Mark. Now we're jumping all over the place. But when he's reading the letter from his ex-girlfriend that broke up with him, and he just sets it aside and put his hands on his computer, and Don goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Computer science." It was so funny.
He just like walks into the room so many times. It's like, did you do the questions?
Science.
Steve's like, no.
Steve got really mad at him when he came home half an hour later.
Yeah, he did.
He was so
Steve was
mad.
there for 5 minutes though. He said he was there for 30.
He also agreed to wait. He ate all of her food.
He also made the
really
worst
mad
mouth
at Mark.
noises. Oh my god.
But that scene is so funny that she's just staring at him wistfully while he's fucking scarfing down her own fish sticks. Like, we've all been there.
Fish sticks.
You know,
fish sticks.
it is really like
fish sticks.
that scene is crazy because all that's happening, but then there's this really kind of like sad moment where it's like she's trying to play for him, and he's much nicer about it than I thought he was gonna be. But that makes it even worse later when he's like a complete dick to her, because like he was like the one older person who was nice to her.
Yeah, and
you know,
I don't think he was trying to be a dick in that moment.
He wasn't, but I'm thinking like from her perspective, it's soul crushing.
It is.
You know,
it is.
like,
but also, yeah, sure.
But yes, I thought he was just not going to say anything when she was playing, and I was like, oh my god, at least say something about it. And then he was nice, which was good.
While he was munching on those fish sticks.
Scarfing them down.
Okay, I'm gonna go back real quick. So after Steve joins the band, this is where Miss Grisham made Dawn talk about grade grubbing to the class, and then we have
grade grubbing. Sorry, have you ever heard that term before?
No.
Grade grubbing?
Matt has.
Yes.
Were you a grade
It's before my
grubber?
time.
In TV shows in the 90s. Like, I really haven't heard it since
The
then.
90s thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh god, I just hate Mrs. Grisham.
She's the worst.
She's just
Talk
awful.
louder.
I hate her so much.
She has the same energy as the teacher from Serial Mom. What happened with teachers in the 90s?
Yeah.
Were they all like that?
There's a teacher in
It's
Teen
funny.
Wolf, the show, that is just as bad as these guys, and then maybe if not worse, because like he's like so egregious. They remove him from the show, right? And then he comes back as like a full ass villain later.
Wait, is that the Nazi?
Was he the Nazi?
Because,
No,
okay,
that was a different
Matt,
character.
I'm just in the kitchen and I'm
That's a
cooking
different
up my soup, right? I'm
Like,
making my soup.
Your fish
And I
sticks.
look
Yeah.
over, and I'm looking over, and I look over to the TV, and they're watching Teen Wolf, and then a full-ass swastika was on the screen, and I was like, what the fuck is going on in Teen Wolf?
That was the beginning of
That
season
was like-
I think it was like this.
That was
Oh,
like
that's a
watching the
season 5 era.
rehearsal. I was watching the rehearsal, and then it was like, why are there Nazis on the screen?
Yep.
Why are there Nazis?
Different character, different teacher,
Different guy.
different teacher, also teacher.
That's not the teacher that you hate.
I hate
You prefer
all the
Nazi?
teachers in Teen Wolf, to be
Are
clear.
you breaking news?
Interesting, Mark. Interesting.
Okay, we cut to an assembly where a student is telling a horrific story about being kidnapped herself.
Yep.
Which also comes back
Foreshadowing.
later. Yes. Dawn is getting bullied by 3 of the boys here, one of them being Brandon. And they're
Brandon.
throwing stuff and shooting spitballs at her. She steals one of their straws, gets her own spitball, turns and spits it at them. She misses and hits a teacher in the eye. The scream is just so funny.
It's so fucking dramatic.
This teacher's the most dramatic person I've ever seen in my life. She wears a bandage over her eye for the rest of the movie because of
There's
spit.
an eye. It's like an eye patch too in one scene.
Yeah, but she's being dramatic. It was
Yeah.
a spitball.
100%.
It was one spitball.
They also
What
say
is-
like she could have lost her
Oh, yeah.
eye. So we know
Blinded her.
they didn't blind her. So why does she still have the eye patch?
Oh no, but that has my favorite line of the movie, which just encapsulates the whole movie, which is when she says, "I'm fighting back," and her mom says, "Who told you to fight back?"
Oh god.
Oh
And
yeah.
that
Oh.
line is just like a punch to the face, because it's like the whole movie is awful vibes, right? But there are like funny, like it is a comedy, like teachers just screamed, but then you know, you hear the line, "Who told you to fight back?" And then just, like, everything that's happening to this poor girl just, like, comes down, just, like, punches you in the face.
Yeah.
I think it makes it even more impactful, because you add the little bit of levity,
That's
and
what I'm
then
saying.
another gut
Yeah.
punch.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't laugh for a second.
I mean, that poor girl, right? But then also the kids in the back at the window, who are just flipping her off! And for what?
And
For what reason?
That's the whole movie, is for what?
Gain from this.
Kids are fucking terrible.
and presumably her parents can see those kids and don't do anything about it. They don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate her parents so much in that part.
Oh yeah,
Who
her
taught you-
mom.
it's just
The whole
awful.
movie.
Yeah.
Mark, it's funny.
go-
Matt, it's funny that you mentioned Serial Mom, because her mom reminded me of Mink Stoll in Serial Mom specifically.
Ah, yes.
The way she behaved.
I think that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, very
Probably,
much same
yeah.
vibes. Is that just what moms were like in the 90s?
I don't even
Perhaps.
think Mink Stoll was a mom in Serial Mom.
No, she
But
was
a
just
cheerleader.
living in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, she just lived in the suburbs, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
And that's fine.
At this point, Mark has Steve over to study. If I ever jump in with the plot and you guys still have stuff to say, just tell me and cut me off again, okay? Because I'll
Sure.
just jump back into it.
We have no problem with that, and you know that.
Yeah. Mark has Steve over to study. I thought Mark might have a thing for Steve. I want to get your guys' take on it.
Me too. Shucks.
But you know what? He's
Well,
just so focused on his computer science, okay?
Yes.
He
I
can't.
thought
what
he
is
was-
computer science code for? You know, who
That's
knows what's happening
true.
behind that closed door?
Yeah.
Why he
That's
walked
true.
on out of his room
Yeah.
so bad?
Mark, you've been doing a lot of
True.
computer science in your room lately.
I thought that was going to be the thing, was that Dawn was going to be in love with him and then find out that Mark was also in love with him.
that would be good.
I think...
No, Mark just
that
doesn't
is
give a
what
shit
happened.
about anything.
Yeah, that's true. But shout out to Mark's
cares about
Next
his computer
Generation
science.
poster here, because I'm so...
Oh, there was a Next Generation poster.
It was huge.
Luke, did you
I
watch the
didn't see it
movie?
What?
I didn't see it either.
Oh, God damn it.
Mark,
I
you
also
watches Star
I'm not
Trek. It
as
makes sense for
familiar
you
with
to
it.
know
Yeah.
I'm so him.
Your name
Just
is Mark.
because of that. Just because of that. He reads a letter from his distant girlfriend that gives him an ultimatum. Where did this come from? But
What was he like?
Distant girlfriend gives an ultimatum.
that's basically how he reacts to it, and then we don't hear about it again. So
Letter 2 was so funny to me for some reason, but I gotta pull up what it said. Go ahead, Mark.
It was also phrased so matter of factly. Maybe they were meant for each other.
yeah.
He
Well,
also
what,
signed it off with your ex-girlfriend, which is awesome.
That's good.
That's
well, yeah,
Power move.
she's saying that she's going to break up with him if he doesn't say something, but then signs it his ex-girlfriend. Like, it's already done.
She made the decision in half a page.
Like, yeah, halfway through. While Kelly pulls it up, this was the point where I wrote down Mark Wiener, haha, and then realized I was part of the problem.
But it's Mark, so it's fine.
Exactly. He's me. Mark Wiener's so funny.
Where did this narrative come from?
Mark.
He has a
Our-
Next
our
Generation
Mark-
poster, and his name is Mark Wiener.
Do you like
This Mark.
do you like computer science?
I was about. He's always doing computer science.
I
in
was
his
doing
room.
computer
Editing.
stuff all day today. 4 hours last night, like 6 hours today, because my files
Yeah.
were corrupted. I had to do computer science.
What do
Yeah.
you guys think computer science entailed in 1995? Yeah, like what is
No
that?
idea.
Or just saying computer
5150.
science, no specifics.
Those are two
I have no
two
idea.
things that have nothing to do with each other, and they're just putting them together: computer and
Oh my
science.
god.
That's the stance you're gonna take?
What's that called when you put two things that are unrelated to each oxymoron?
It's not just computer science.
Is that right?
It's technology. Computer science is computer technology. They just don't want to call it that.
That scene also has one of my favorite deliveries of the movie, which is when they're talking about Steve Rogers. And Don goes, "Wait, you mean they had intercourse?" It was so funny. It was the pause before intercourse. So funny to me.
Did you pull up the letter? Did you want to?
I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Ah, shoot.
Steve comes over for another study session with Mark.
Another computer science.
Computer
session.
science.
No wonder he was so mad he was 30 minutes or 5 minutes late. I can't tell.
That is true. That's true.
Is this the fish sticks one?
Yes,
fish
yeah,
sticks.
this is the
Okay.
So we kind of went over this scene, but Dawn makes him lunch and intend to woo him. And his mouth noises are insane in this. I fucking can't stand his mouth. He's smacking every single one.
It's terrible.
Do you guys get bothered by other people's mouth noises? Thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Mark, you?
Mine's more so yes, but I've kind of gotten better about it. But there's some, like, what really bugs me is in movie theaters with popcorn, if people are loudmouth chewing, because some people smack that. I can hear it from, like, was it in How to Train Your Dragon, maybe? Something recently. Someone was doing it from a row behind me.
Oh,
and I
it
could
was
hear
like
Oh, yes, because you were there. Yes. It was terrible. You didn't hear
that.
it, but I personally didn't tell you, so you wouldn't focus in on it, so.
Yeah,
I think when
Last of Us Sonic hearing that.
It's only when it's like egregious, right? Because there's a certain amount of mouth noises that anyone has when they're eating, but it's when it's like you're just eating mouth open.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Close your mouth.
It bugs me.
Kelly, you? Wait, sorry.
Okay.
Kelly, your thoughts on mouth
I
noises?
I don't like it, but it's not the end of the world.
Cool.
It will be for
All
them.
That's all I have
Cool.
to say.
Moving on. Mark shows up and Steve tells him that he's been waiting there for 30 minutes, but it's been no more than 5.
Hey.
But he does accidentally leave his student ID, and Dawn takes it. She starts doing like a seance or something to it, praying to it. Is that it? I didn't read anything other than that.
Yeah, it's just making a shrine, really.
Okay, yeah, and that doesn't come back too.
It is pretty funny to say, like, when he showed up and she's just like, yeah, Mark's out at the store. He's just like, okay, cool. So then when he shows up, he's like, Mark, what the hell? Like, whoa, where did that come from?
At this point, we see Steve playing in the band with Mark and singing the song "Welcome to the Dollhouse," which is a really creepy song. Don't they keep saying something about like a little girl in it over and over
They
again?
do.
Yeah, but that was every song before.
Hey, that's just how. Yeah, and that's just how the quadratics do it.
Okay.
Is that?
I thought we were
a
gonna have more
real song?
pushback on this
Original
podcast,
song?
not just. Okay.
Did Steve write that song, or is that a real song?
It sounds like a real song, but
Anyone?
No idea. Matt's cutting out. Oh, you're back.
Am I back?
Yep.
I tried to look up who it was by on IMDb, and I didn't really get an answer. That's why it made me think, like, did they write that for the movie?
That's what I thought. I have no idea.
so. Yeah, it was.
If
it was
so-
a creepy song.
Very
But
creepy.
I
then,
liked it.
but then,
Yeah.
Steve immediately quits when he gets one note of criticism from Mark. He's gone.
And like,
Anybody
can
else
you
relate to that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He tells him in the most soft-spoken, like, respectful manner that he's saying a
He's
little
so-
bit flat, and he's like, "Fuck this! Are you kidding me?"
He's also like playing A, and then the other kid plays an A, and he's like, "You were flat."
That is kind of
Like,
a dick
do you
thing
hear
to
that?
do.
You
Yeah.
were flat. Which is,
Did you hear
I
that?
think
You
it's
think you
awesome.
sounded like that? Yeah.
I think it's awesome. That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, and then Don runs after him.
Mhm.
It's something he's like, God, it was so funny to me. He was like, I'd rather fail computer science than be in a band with your shithead brother.
Solid.
And then Dawn calls her brother a shithead, again, just
Yeah.
mimicking the behaviors that happened to her. And then her brother goes, there's
Yeah.
a long pregnant
Yes.
pause, and
Yes.
her mother goes, I can't even, she's lucky she's a girl.
Yes.
No, Yeah.
So I think that implied because if she was a boy, he'd beat her up.
Boy, he'd beat her
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the only
But-
way but it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
She's lucky she's a girl.
Look, I was on the same boat as you. I wasn't entirely sure that's what they meant.
Yeah.
Like, I knew, but also I was
Yeah.
like, weird. Just weird context. Because they don't even say it in a way that they would be, like, that they're mad.
Yeah,
that
no,
they would
it's
beat her.
just
It's
like-
she's lucky she's a girl.
Yes, 'cause
even need
Mark-
to beat her up.
Well, yeah, Mark looks like he could really beat a guy up.
Yes.
Um,
And then they just go back to the garage.
we go to school, and this is where Ralphie tells Brandon, "You think you're hot shit, but you're just cold diarrhea."
Diarrhea.
Yeah.
Best line of the
Ralphie!
movie. Best line of the movie for sure. There are a lot of R slurs thrown around to bullies.
Yeah. That's actually
Which-
a plot point.
Is important. Yeah.
Yes,
Which I was not expecting.
because
Yeah.
Dawn was saying it towards Brandon, which ends up becoming a plot point, and then this is where the movie gets even darker, and Brandon threatens to assault Dawn after school.
He threatens to rape her. Well, like, let's say what it is. Yeah.
And he says it a lot.
Yes,
He
A
does,
lot.
yeah.
and then he tries, and then she gets away. I just feel terrible at this point in the movie. Like,
Yeah. Well, this is a
Yeah.
really interesting part of the movie because it also just shows about, like, the way that everyone has treated this girl. And again, who told you to fight back comes back around because she just ends up, like,
Yeah.
following him to, like,
She
Like-
intentionally meets him the next day. She doesn't
exactly.
tell her parents when he calls. She's just like, "Yeah, he's fine. He's a nice boy." No, he is not. What?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
she intentionally meets up with
Yeah.
him even when he's threatening to rape her. And
Yeah.
so it's like this is kind of like the moment to me where it just like shows how all these people have been treating her entire life just ends up affecting someone psychologically of where it to the point where like she just thinks that it has to happen to her. You know what I'm trying to
yeah.
say?
You accept what you think you deserve, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the who told you to fight back.
Yeah. So you just accept it because you're like, yeah, I guess, you know, this is
Because
my
that's the way
fate.
no one has treated her like she deserves anything more than that.
Which makes it very powerful and so incredibly
so
hard to
sad.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real
Yeah.
hard to watch.
Sorry for making you watch it again. Ugh.
Huh? No,
Sorry for
it's a
making you
good
watch
movie.
it again. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, specifically these scenes.
Hard.
Sorry for
They're
making you
rough.
watch these again. Yeah.
However, okay, but I'm so sorry. Brandon, I don't mean to be a cunt, is one of the best lines ever written.
it's her delivery of it.
It's her delivery. Yeah, Heather fucking ate that shit up. She ate this whole movie up.
Also, this is where we get the piece of information about Brandon that his brother has Down syndrome. And it's like, oh, that's why he was so affected. Yes. And that was a layer of the movie that I was not expecting. This movie goes a lot deeper into his psyche than I was expecting it to. And, like, of course, that doesn't excuse the horrendous behavior.
Yeah.
No, not a reason to threaten someone.
Obviously not.
But it shows kind of how he got there. Because you also see his home life and his dad is a shit, you know? Like, it's like, the perpetuating cycles,
Right.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Um,
Were we?
no, I was just, if it were good to move on to the next scene,
Yes, please.
that's where Dawn's mom tells her to take down the clubhouse for her and
Oh
her
my
dad's
God.
20th anniversary party. Dawn says
Oh
no,
my
and the
God.
mom gives
Ugh.
everyone but cake but Dawn.
Her
Even
mom's
going
lucky
as far
she's a girl.
Yeah. Actually, no. Get me in there. Get me in there.
listen
Lucky she's
listen how
a girl.
awful the mom is. Like, even goes as far as cutting a piece for Dawn and
Oh,
then splitting it
Misty.
between her two siblings.
Oh,
Yeah,
so mad.
just
I was so upset.
Dawn's mom is awful.
Okay, I've got more of a bone to pick, not than with the mom. I've got more of a bone to pick with Mark than Missy in this scene. Because even though Missy suggests it, Dawn
Yeah.
has kind of been bullying her this whole movie. Why
Yeah.
the fuck did Mark accept that?
Mark's the older brother, too. He should be like, hey, maybe not. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
for the
come
most
on.
Mark don't
part,
give a shit
like,
about nothing.
for the most part, Mark is like, he's not particularly nice to Dawn, but it seems like, I don't know. I didn't think that. I thought it was kind of weird that he asked to eat her cake from his behavior earlier.
I think that his character is just apathy. So
Yeah.
like, I don't think, because everyone is awful to her, sans Ralphie, and the way that Mark is just his apathy about her, and
Yeah.
you know, he probably doesn't understand why eating half of her cake will affect her emotionally, but also you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, that cake will fuel him so he could do more computer science, okay?
That's what it
Do more
was.
computer science and play the oboe?
Or whatever it was.
I'm unsure what he was playing.
Wow, this scene is just so terrible.
I fucking
And,
hate that bitch.
yeah, and
The
their
mom-
stupid anniversary party.
That is
Fuck
crap.
them. Fuck them.
The part that really gets to me, I think, is her pretending to like ask when it's really
Yeah,
telling
when
her,
She tells
and
her
then
no,
punishing
and she
her
does
when
it
she
anyway.
Not
doesn't.
letting her. Yeah, exactly. No, okay, yeah, that's the part that's real bad. Is telling the two other kids that she's gonna need their help, tearing it down anyway. When you know that's important to her. But then there's also the fucking father, because that's also a part of this movie where it's like he says maybe you shouldn't, and then doesn't do anything about it
Yep,
regardless.
just lets
but
it happen.
even people who know that things are wrong will let it happen anyway because it's easier to just let it happen to someone.
Mark is his father's son, apparently.
Yes.
We get a real quick scene of the stupid eye patch teacher being so dramatic. Except it's like a bandage still, and she like
Stupid
gives Dawn the
eye
death stare. I'm like, fuck you, man. Get a life. God. And then at school, a girl named Cookie announces something about swing outfits if you're coming to her party.
Which was pointedly to make people who weren't invited feel
Yes,
bad.
yep.
Those are the politics of middle school.
And
I
then-
thought that was so crazy that she did that. I was like, I could never.
It's insane.
I
Yeah.
have an announcement
The
to make
politics
stand
of
up and
middle
say
school.
that.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Brandon wasn't invited, so he offers Cookie his cookie from lunch and
Yeah.
just so he can get an invite to it. She says no, and he gets upset and storms off.
I thought. Wait, how many of you have seen 8th grade?
No, no one.
No
But
one?
you.
There is a scene in that where she goes to a pool party, and so I thought that's where this was headed, and that scene is so uncomfortable in 8th grade, and I thought this was going to be like that, but like time 10.
Oh wait,
So,
I have seen 8th grade.
okay.
This 8th grade is clearly inspired by this movie.
100%.
Right? I haven't even
yeah.
seen 8th grade, and I'm even
Yeah.
aware
So,
of that.
somebody on Letterboxd said that 8th grade is like a more toned down version of this. It's not like to the extremes
Yeah,
that
this
Welcome
is
to the
something that
Dollhouse
could
is.
have only happened in 1995.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder. I'm like, I wonder if Bo Burnham was watching Welcome to the Dollhouse and was like, ooh, what if she actually did go to that pool party? And like, that's how that scene came about.
I see. Yeah.
We see
Also a movie written by a man, which is interesting.
Where, yeah, I bet you there are ones about middle school life written by women, but where are they? Show
nobody,
them
like-
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, but they
Show
probably
them
have
to-
Show 'em to
lower
Matt.
budget, and people don't talk about them because
Bring them
they're-
to me.
somebody send them to
please.
Matt right now.
Matt.
We see Brandon and Dawn in her clubhouse before it's taken down. She says she can't be his girlfriend after he kisses her, and he runs away. The small Ralph boy comes out of the bushes.
The small Ralph boy.
Boy, Luke,
yes.
this is the
Small
part,
Ralph
Luke, where I think that he might be Ghost Kid, that Cameron and I saw that one time, who came up and asked to play
Oh.
basketball,
Own
and then walked
Ghost
away
Kid.
into the distance
Yeah.
as far as possible.
Yeah.
I think it might have been
small
Ralphie.
boy Ralphie the whole time.
But then she calls him the F slur and runs off. And I was like, Dawn, Ralphie's just trying to hang out in the bush. I don't know what he was doing.
But it makes sense, like, for the point of this
Yes,
movie.
for sure.
Yeah.
Can't you just imagine Ralphie wearing like a newsy cap and a Victorian like
Yes!
child's outfit?
That
Yeah.
poor
Yeah.
kid!
Well,
I don't know if he was eating a blue popsicle
Yes,
recently, but
yes,
it looks like
yes.
it.
The picture at the end.
His mouth is just always
I
like
think
that.
he's
always
just
eating a blue
anemic.
pop.
Yeah. He looks like he could have played Oliver Twist.
We're now at the 20th anniversary party for Dawn's stupid ass parents. I thought Dawn should Jesse Gemstone ruin this party. Maybe not by getting drunk, but like ruin it somehow.
Yes, yes. Yes.
No, she should have gotten
yes,
drunk
for
and
sure.
ruined it.
I really thought something was gonna happen, but it doesn't. They just don't notice that she's not there, presumably for a long time. Of course.
You know what she says too? She has the audacity. Her mom, when they notice that she's not there and they don't know where she is, she has the audacity to say, "Hope she's okay."
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Performance.
Do you?
Find your daughter.
Not only that, but that same night, I think they watch a tape of the party that they just had.
Yes.
Missy pushing
Psychotic
Dawn
behavior.
There is a couple of things in here. Missy pushing Dawn here. She's also on Mr. Kazdan's shoulders, who is the person who kidnapped her.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they say, look, she's on Mr. Kazdan's shoulders, and then later they said that was his name. Yeah. This is the stuff I wouldn't have noticed if I didn't take notes, but I was trying to figure out.
Real creepy.
Yeah. But we see that Missy pushes Dawn into the pool, and everyone laughs in real life, and then laughs at wow, yeah, it's. Ugh.
I could not imagine.
Because it could have been funny if she thought it was also funny.
Right,
She didn't.
but like,
So now
you could
it's
tell
just
it was
torture.
mean-spirited. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a parent watching that and then just laughing and be like, "That's awful. Come on."
Yeah. So we also see that Steve picks her up for a second. Now, the reason I brought this up is because they say that Steve is going to New York to pursue his musician dreams, and then they find her tutu in Times Square.
Yeah.
So I thought Steve took her for a little bit,
Ooh.
but that ended up not being the case. But
Red herring.
some of my notes are revolved around that. I'll try to skip it because I was like, for sure it's Steve. He's in New York. It was not Steve.
Steve Rogers is in New York.
Steve Rogers is in New York.
Yeah.
So Dawn takes a hammer from under her pillow that night. I thought
She keep getting these tools.
Literally the most easily accessible things on the planet.
Her dad is very absent. He does not care about where her tools are.
That's true. It's not locked.
No. I definitely thought she was gonna hit Missy with it. I thought that's what it was gonna be, like some kind of conclusion to the movie. I just thought something was gonna happen, or the mom was gonna walk in or something, and it was gonna make it even worse, like something. But
did you also think of Old Lady House, a situation comedy?
I didn't, but that's a good call.
That's
That's a good call. If they would have put a laugh track over this, then
It'd
would
be
have felt a
funny.
little bit better. She destroys the VHS of her getting humiliated by her stupid little sister.
It was warranted.
Destroy the tape. That they're all laughing. Like, yes,
It was a bad VHS.
terrible.
Bad VHS.
the next scene in we're in class and Brandon is taken to the principal's office. I thought that it was the cops. I thought the principal was a cop, and I don't know why, but I was like, I wrote down that Brandon was getting taken by the cops. It was the principal.
Oh, I thought he was getting taken by the cops.
It was the principal.
I thought there were cops in the hallway.
Is there? Was it? Maybe that's why I thought that.
There might be, but there's also later. Nope, I'm thinking of Twin Peaks.
That's
Oops.
Oh, sorry. No, I was thinking of the pilot to Twin Peaks. My bad.
So he may or may not have been taken by the cops as well, but it was the principal talking. I thought it was a cop.
Yes.
Same thing.
Dawn comes home from school and her mom is leaving to pick up the dad because his car broke down. She tells her that Missy will need to get a ride from a family friend from ballet, and she leaves a note with that info and tells Dawn to give Missy the note. Dawn intentionally does not give Missy the note, and she is kidnapped.
Well,
I'll tell you.
is the Ralphie scene with him over the phone, which is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. Oh, Ralphie. Do you remember that?
Also,
I don't.
yes.
I might have been writing notes.
Luke, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that when the mom was giving her instructions, I had the captions on, was paying attention, didn't catch a word.
Luke, actually, this is... Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Before we go into the phone
picked up the friend.
she tells Dawn something here that was super fast, and I had no idea what she said, or my brain is broken. But on replay, she tell that, and then I just skipped.
It really wasn't.
I didn't get it at all. I was like,
Mark.
that was super important. I don't know what she said.
Mark.
Give her the note is the
Yes.
gist.
But like, why? That's
You
what
and I
just-
was okay. Give her the note. I can't really tell why.
Yep.
But
That's funny. I
don't
skipped over that part because I was like, you know what? It wasn't that hard to understand. But that's what I was super confused.
Mark, the Ralphie part is Ralphie calls to talk to Dawn, and so Missy is holding the phone out,
Yes.
and
That's
Dawn is saying just really mean stuff
he's
about
listening,
Ralphie,
right.
and he's just listening to all of it. Poor Ralphie.
Because,
Really.
yeah,
bad.
because it's this kid that everyone shits on finding someone else to shit on. You know,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
person she sees as lower than her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is real. It's really sad, really heartbreaking. Ralphie's face on the phone, because
Yeah.
also they were friends, and
Yeah.
like they were genuinely friends, but she needs someone to lash out at.
And
and
he
if she
is-
can't kill her little sister,
Well, she tries. I
might
mean,
as well be
directly
the
on
one person that's nice to her, which also just further isolates herself.
and I mean, it's
Yeesh.
very
Um,
hurt. You can't do that to Ralphie when he's 1 week away from death. It looks
Yeah.
like.
No, seriously. Like,
Somebody
you
get
don't
this
know
boy
how
another
long that kid is
popsicle. Yeah.
Did you say one more lick of that popsicle?
No, I said to get him another lick of the popsicle, but I like that better. One more lick of the popsicle and he's done for.
God.
And so, yeah, Missy even goes like, maybe you should say you're sorry.
Yeah.
Even Missy, you know, and she doesn't, and so Dawn gets mad at her for that and doesn't give her the note. So leading, like, that was a purposely malicious act.
Yes.
For sure.
I knew as soon as she said, give her the note, I had this feeling.
That note was
Because
not being given.
Katie and I watch a lot of Dateline, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
okay, are they gonna go this direction? And knowing the type of movie it was, I was like, is she gonna get kidnapped? Is she gonna go missing?
so how many of you guys expected the kidnapping turn of this movie?
I forgot. I forgot about
Not at
the
the
That's a crazy
beginning.
act
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
I forgot about the assembly at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, with the spitball.
Yeah,
but that's what they were
right.
talking about.
It wasn't until the note part, and I was like, oh no. I was like,
Yeah.
I know how this ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, and I know that we've all been there, where it's just like, maybe I just won't do this thing, and they'll be left out of school for a couple minutes, you know, or they'll be left out of school for a couple hours, and then worst case scenario happens.
The hard cut
Yep.
to the cops at front is
Yeah.
a great
Oof.
creative choice.
And then they're also everyone going, she says she gave her the note. She says she gave her the
Yeah.
note.
Claimed. She
Dawn's
claims she
face
gave her the note.
Claims she gave her the note, and Dawn just staring into the like that
The void.
1,000-yard stare.
It's weird how casually they talk about, like, when they're at breakfast and they're just like, what do you think's happening to her? Like, just
Right.
so casually. Like, what?
You know what's also crazy? This happened before Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Oh my gosh.
Did it
Which is crazy
really?
because if it didn't, I would have thought absolutely it was inspired by it. This
Yeah.
this was released widely 7 months before.
Oh.
crap.
Because like the whole scene with the cops in the house is so reminiscent of it.
Oh.
Isn't that fucked up? Sorry,
Yeah.
I brought the vibe even lower, but
But
it's just crazy.
you're
to-
right. That is so weird. The 90s, man. I don't like it.
While the cops are there, Mark also insinuates that Dawn was not pretty enough to kidnap, which is like,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay, it's also crazy. Sorry, it's also crazy what Dawn does in this scene, because when
What's she do?
maybe it's a scene later, but when their dad is having a nervous breakdown, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
brings him water, and she says, I don't know if we'll ever find her, but just remember you have 2 other kids. Like, or something like,
It's like,
like,
ugh.
me and Mark will always be here. It's like, Dawn.
Dawn, not the thing to say.
Yeah.
I know why you said that, but Jesus.
But read the room.
I also forgot to mention that Dawn caught Steve hooking up with someone in their own garage, which
Oh,
I
you know what
know,
this
where are
reminded me
the
of?
fucking manners?
which is where he said
Nightmare
I
on
think he's
Elm
going to New
Street
York.
2.
No, they said it later.
Or
actually.
dark.
dark. That's in the school locker room.
Yeah.
But a Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge is
Oh,
the
of
garage.
course.
Yes,
Are they in the
pool
garage?
party.
No, they're like in a greenhouse.
Oh, it's like a shed. Yeah.
Shed.
They're in like
More of a
shed,
shed.
and
like.
then the tongue thing happens, and then he runs away. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
like
yeah.
a greenhouse. It's just even stranger.
Dawn goes to Brandon's house and he is packing to run away. He asks her to go with him. She says no, and he does, and that's the last we see of Brandon.
He also
Oh,
goes to New York.
Brandon.
Is that where he said he was going?
Yeesh.
I wanted to mention that scene with Steve was when he kind of broke her heart because she invited him to be part of the Special People Club,
Yeah.
and he just said, "You know what special people means, right?" And just crushes her. She's already so vulnerable because her parents have been treating her like shit, and this is I mean, I know she's infatuated with him, and he has he's so much older than her, but he's just been nice to her, and that's all you need. Just be nice to Dawn. And it's just, he doesn't realize how mean he's being, I don't think, but it's just the final straw, you know?
He is a dickhead. In general,
he's an idiot.
He's a dickhead,
yeah.
and so I think it's just like a dickhead not realizing dickheadish behavior. Yeah.
But it was, I just felt so sad. Just oh, come on, man. Just tell her you'll be, even if you know you're moving.
Advocate.
Yeah. Yeah. Just say, sure, I'll be part of your club.
Dawn does need a wake-up call in that sense. In one way, that's not the ideal way, but she does need someone to tell her. Actually, no, because no one in this fucking movie will be able to ever articulate it well for her, so maybe not.
No, but also it's just is it your place as Steve Rogers to say that to her? No,
no, I'm not saying anything that he says to her, but it's just So,
I get what you're trying to say. It's someone needs to let her know the double meaning of it, but in a nice way.
I'm not.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not talking about the double meaning. I'm talking about her crush on Steve. She needs to have a wake up call about that and how that's not good.
But there's probably a way to say it and be
needs to fucking protect her is why.
Yeah. To be hey, he is so much older than you, and that's super dangerous because that doesn't always stop people like Steve. Yeah, you know.
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
The family gets a call that Missy's tutu was found in Times Square. We also see the dad with the nervous breakdown that we mentioned. Dawn takes a ride. Dawn rides a bus to New York to hang up signs for Missy. And then this is where I really thought that she was going to be found with Steve. But I was super wrong.
Okay, so I kind of have mixed feelings about this part is because when Misty got kidnapped, I thought it was a way of being because the whole movie Dawn keeps saying she has it so easy, she'll always have it so easy, that I thought Missy, even though Missy's this cute little kid that everyone loves, and every time she was dancing I wanted to kick her in the face. I thought it was a way of saying that no girl has it easy, even if they're quote unquote the cute little kid that everyone loves or conventionally attractive or whatever. No girl ever has it easy because she gets kidnapped, but then she gets found and they're no, I think she liked it.
She's fine.
Interesting.
There's no trauma.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Which is also weird. Could be just the way that people talk about that within the world. Could be. I don't know. I could just be digging way too far into things. But I because the first time I watched it, I forgot that she got found. I thought the end of this movie for some reason was Missy never got found. I thought this movie ended with Dawn's dream in New York of everyone being we love you, Dawn, we love you, Dawn, and then her waking up and it was just a dream. And I thought that's where the movie ended and Missy never got found. I didn't remember the last 5 minutes of this movie. So that's weird. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about that part. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's weird.
Yeah, her saying that she had
been,
basically had fun and she probably liked it because she had her own TV and everything and
which could be because it could be a funny joke, and it could be just like the way that people talk about, like, oh no, she can't be traumatized by that, nothing happened to her, but like the way that it's played more just feels like just yet another everything bad happens to Dawn, and even the bad thing that happened to Missy wasn't bad for her, which like
that's
that is the point of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Like bad, because even bad, quote unquote, bad things can't happen to people where everything good happens for them, which rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because she was literally kidnapped by a pedophile.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, I guess you could try to make the argument it's just how people talk about it, but the next time we see Missy, and every time that she seems normal and fine,
yes,
and
she
like
seems happier.
Which doesn't
attention.
mean she is, but in the context of the movie, that is exactly how she's been acting all movie. So it's like, it seems like she's fine. Yeah, I don't know.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
I felt weird about this whole part.
I like the fact that she gets kidnapped.
Interesting.
I thought it was a good turn of the movie.
I
thought
it
was going to be what I originally thought.
I more mean like the resolution of it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I was saying before. It was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
She calls home after she wakes up in New York. So she didn't spend the night home. She calls Mark, and Mark says that Missy was found. And the mom literally didn't notice or care that Dawn was gone for the night, and does not care that she calls. So it's as if Dawn is also gone, doesn't care at all.
This is also a good part, because this is a very real thing of when people aren't the ideal victim, like quote unquote ideal victim, people care less when something bad happens to them, like when people go missing. So that's very real.
That's another thing. Speaking of watching so many Datelines, the way they talk about people, it's usually, you know, they were the ideal student, they were this, they were that. Because when they're not, people don't make as big a fuss about it. Because there's an air of victim blaming about it sometimes too, if it's someone who is like troubled or whatever. Right.
And it happens like most often when the victim isn't white. They don't have as much like effort put into finding them. Like that, it's a very real thing of when someone's not the quote unquote ideal victim.
Absolutely.
So that's a good part about this. Like I liked that part, because even like when she calls Mark, even he's like, "You're in trouble," and then like not thank God you're okay. It's you're in trouble.
It's you're in trouble.
You'll always be in trouble.
Guess what he's doing in that scene?
Computer science?
I think he has a textbook open. He's studying. I can only assume it's computer science. Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that may be.
Dawn then speaks at an assembly about kidnapping, and a ton of kids start bullying her during it, chanting "Wiener Dog," I think.
Yep.
There's a very funny line she says right before that, though, when she says Missy has always been like a sister to her.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Crazy line. The principal does kind of pull a cease moment here.
Dude, that was so funny when he just started pointing.
So sad, of course, like every scene in this movie. We see that they're watching Missy's TV interview in the living room, and the mom asked Mark to get a soda for her, even though she told Dawn twice throughout the movie that she could not have drinks in the living room.
In the TV room.
Missy
room. Tells her twice throughout the movie.
Did not notice
that. I didn't catch that. Wow.
I got it. I saw it on an internet thing of like,
okay.
When I was going through the trivia, someone said that as like it was in the trivia, but it was also just kind of like pointing it out. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Is it? Yeah. Is it trivia or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was not. I would not have noticed. The mom is. And then Dawn is on the bus to Disney World for a concert that they kind of set up earlier.
Yes.
And then the movie.
She doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, because yes, she said, "I don't want to go to Disney World," and Mark's response is, "Don't be stupid. It'll look good on your resume."
Why?
Yeah. So, they're going to perform at a concert there. I think it was a concert.
Yeah. It was for band, I want to say. the kids who went to Disney were always in fucking band in high school, and it pissed me off when they get to go to Disney because they play an instrument badly.
Kelly's opinions are her own opinions.
The slow like pull
Arizona
in as everyone sings on the bus, and she just like is not into it. Like
perfect ending.
I like that ending.
The
I like
perfect
it a lot.
ending. I was like, this makes me feel like if I was on that bus, I'd be like, come on, man, this is miserable. Like,
this is a miserable film. That's the right word.
Yeah.
But it just goes. It ties along with everything else, where she didn't want to go to Disney World, but she went along with it anyway because everyone just told her that's what she was supposed to do.
Why would you fight back?
Why would you fight back?
Yeah.
And so and so her 1,000-yard stare while she's singing the song. Ugh. That just sums up the movie.
Sucks to think that she has 5 more years of that, presumably, before she can move out.
Yes. Well, that's also what she asks Mark. Right. Is she asks, is 8th grade better than 7th? And he says no. And then she asks 9th, and he says not really.
At least it almost... what was really sad was the way he talked about 9th. If I was in her position, it did sound a little better. Like, it's like, everyone is mean to you, but they do it behind your back.
Behind your back.
And it's like almost something to look forward to. It's like, well, at least there's that.
That's what to look forward to. Is kids will always be terrible, but now it's just not to your face.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
That's that's
great. Thanks, Todd.
I still feel like shit by the end of this movie.
Psychological warfare. You guys have never been a middle school girl. You don't understand what it's like to watch this movie.
I'm sorry.
And that is
great.
Welcome to the Dollhouse. You start like feeling like shit, and you end like feeling like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have some things, guys.
Yes.
This movie had a wide release on May 24th, 1996. Do you know what else happened in May 1996? The I don't know how to say the name. The Yellow Jackets had a play.
The Wiskay, is it Wiskayuk? Hold on.
What?
And this movie takes place in New Jersey.
Yeah.
No way.
This movie takes place in New Jersey, and Yellow Jackets takes place in New Jersey. So, did the plane crash? Yeah. Wiskayuk, Yellow Jackets plane crash happened. Did the plane crash so Misty Quigley didn't have to watch this movie? Or did Misty Quigley watch this movie and it caused the plane to crash?
Interesting.
Might be that.
Because
it wasn't Lottie that crashed the plane, it was Misty.
It was Misty. Welcome to the Dollhouse's influence.
Yes.
But if there is this movie 100%, not only is there a reference to it in Yellow Jackets, but this movie alone created the character of Misty Quigley, I'm positive.
Absolutely.
And Piggy in Lord of the Flies.
Is this the one that's in Van's VHS?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Rewinding it.
Yeah.
So she was just, she's rewinding it because somebody returned it?
Yeah. Someone returned it.
Okay, I was like, she was just watching it?
Well, that's why I picked it for this podcast. I saw her rewinding it, and I was like, I should pick that. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
And I mean, that makes total sense, because it's about girlhood. Not being able to fit into with growing into girlhood.
Isn't season 1, episode 3 called The Dollhouse?
Is it?
Yes, it is. It is.
You know what else?
Episode 3 ties, when you learn Ty's backstory.
You know what else has episodes called The Dollhouse?
Season 5, episode 22, Pretty Little Liars. Season 6, episode 1, Pretty Little Liars.
Thank you.
Nice.
I don't know if I got the season 5 episode number right.
In that show. Iconic moments in that show, so I've heard.
So
we watched
that
episode.
Yeah.
We watched the first one. We didn't watch the second one.
Okay, well, I watched it when I was this age, so don't. That's my culture you're talking about. The Pretty Little Liars Dollhouse episodes.
I would like to say one good thing that came from this movie is that it helped Heather Matarazzo realize that she's gay.
Yeah, the first scene of the
I saw
movie.
that note. Yeah.
So that's not. I mean, not like immediately, because she said she grew up parents, so it took her a while to like fully come to terms with it. But this was her first like inkling that's like, oh.
You try to hear the word lesbo.
Yeah, she said she didn't know what that meant, and then when she was told, she's like, oh, I think that's me. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
guys, I can't believe, I'm so sorry. I can't believe this movie came out when the Yellow Jackets crashed. And
That is
it takes
crazy.
place in New Jersey.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But
Like,
you know what's? Did they do that
what?
intentionally? Probably not. But
Yes,
they could have
I
written
would
that
not.
intentionally.
I bet. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I
Like,
know.
all of Misty's outfits, like her cat sweater and everything, look like Dawn's fucking outfits that she always tucks into her pants. Her pants are crazy in this movie.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Does anyone else have anything else with Welcome to the Dollhouse?
Nah, it's a good movie, but would I recommend it? Not for the faint of heart. I feel like, yeah, I'd recommend it.
I think I'd have to know the person and know that they were prepared to handle it. I wouldn't just
Yeah, I feel
recommend
like-
this to
okay.
anybody.
Here's my
Yeah.
thing. I feel like the only people I would feel comfortable enough recommending this to is gonna be someone who's already seen this movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet someone, and by the time I'm like, oh, you would like Welcome to the Dollhouse, they have seen
already seen
Welcome
it.
to the
They've
Dollhouse.
seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, it'd probably have to be somebody like Tao, from Heartstopper, but he definitely has already seen it.
He's seen it.
He's seen it.
He's seen it.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't, just because I didn't have a good time watching it. Although I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just not my thing. So the people I would
feel like
talk to and the people that I recommend movies to, I would not personally recommend this movie.
whoa.
We're watching Wild Hogs with Cameron. Like, and that's
No,
the
that's what I
vibe.
mean. Like, you don't know very many women. It's okay.
I
That's a
think
joke. It's a joke.
it would be hilarious
Don't worry.
to recommend this randomly to somebody at work, just some unsuspecting.
Welcome to the Dollhouse.
It's a really fun, lighthearted comedy.
Yep.
I
Check
feel
it.
like I would if someone recommended it to me, I would take it as an insult, though.
Yeah, I'd be
Do you
like,
know what I mean?
why did you
Because
think I should
you know
watch
what
this?
you know what you would find relatable? Welcome to the
Yeah.
Dollhouse. Because everyone fucking hates you.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Dead.
All right. Next week we will be doing I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
It is not on any streaming that I know of. I have it bought on Vudu. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It used to be on something. I watched it on something before.
one of them is, I think, I don't know. I just bought the collection. So
Okay, sweet. Thank you for doing that.
yep, that's what we'll be doing next week. But thank you for tuning in to listen about Welcome to the Dollhouse. And we will see you next week on tonight's watch. Goodbye.
Goodbye.